The next hadith is very similar to do with حقوق العباد. The next hadith is very similar to do with حقوق العباد. It's to do with, again, considering somebody else's feelings. And specifically, if you've got somebody who's related to you, then because you feel that you're bound to them through blood relationship and kinship, you're probably going to do more than you would do for a neighbor that's not related to you. That's why look at what the Prophet ﷺ is saying. He's saying that إذا طبخت مرقة فأكثر ماءها وتعاهد جيرانك. When you prepare some broth or soup, meaning when you prepare a dish at home, right? Now, when you prepare a dish at home, there's certain ingredients that go into it. And normally you buy things according to what your family needs. Sometimes if you're not very well off, then you have to put everything according to a certain measure. The solids especially. Water is quite abundant most of the time, except in places where there's drought and so on. But what the Prophet ﷺ is saying, when you prepare some broth or soup, add more water and be thoughtful of your neighbor. So saying that we're not going to force you that you have to buy another 2 kilograms or 2 pounds of meat, the best cuts, and you have to give that to your, you have to cook spare ribs, and you have to cook all of these T-bone steaks and stuff like that for your neighbors. Of course, if that's what your business you're in, or if that's what you do, and if that's what you have the ability to, you could do that. But this is saying that even if you're just cooking a few bones and you're making some soup, bones with soup, chicken soup or something like that, and you don't have enough, that's fine. Just so that you could be considerate of your neighbor and show a sense of goodwill and create greater harmony and peace and understanding and love between yourselves, increase the water. Make it more watery and give them some. Obviously, it's not saying do that in the sense that if you've got the ability to give them a proper dish. So don't become literalist here and go to your neighbors and say, and give them, colored water, soup water, right? And say, this is what it says in the hadith. It's saying that as a last resort. It's saying that as a last resort, that if you can't do anything else, then at least do this and be considerate of them. And this doesn't matter whether you've got Muslims or non-Muslim neighbors. This is just neighbors, because whether you got non-Muslim or Muslims, you're living next to them. And there is a certain right that has to be observed with that. This is not to say that you have to give it every day. Because imagine if you had to share food every day, you'd probably have to throw away a lot eventually. Because if every family was sharing every day, then it would be an issue. You share once every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever, something like that. If you've got cook something special, cook a bit extra, be a bit thoughtful, and go and give them some. Don't give it the next day after, when you think we've cooked a lot, we've eaten today, and tomorrow it's going to be kind of stale now. We're not going to eat this for days and days. Let's give some to the neighbor right now. That should not be the way to do it. Not that you can't do it, but it should not be the way that we look at this. We look at this from the perspective that we do it from the beginning. So we give it to them fresh.